Hey, everybody, I'm still the Ranting Monkey, and sorry about that. My connection died, and since I'm the host, you have 5 minutes to get back or everything drops. I am so sorry about that. So let's just jump back into this.
Do we want to wait a minute to let people get back into the streamy stream?
Sure. We can wait and
yeah,
I should tweet this shit out.
That might be an idea too. Let's learn from our mistakes. Make sure everybody comes back to us. Let's see. I'll like it so people know where we're at. There we go. Let's see. We went from 15 to 27 people watching, 30 people watching. If we get back to up to like the 120 or whatever we're at, then we should be okay. And for those of you on here,
we can jump in.
Yeah, I just want to say real quick the fact that
go ahead.
The stream drops and we suddenly get a new one back up, and within about 10 seconds we have almost 50 people on here coming back. Thank you to our loyal viewers and patient followers for seeing us through these technical difficulties.
Yes, thank you so much. And when this gets re-uploaded, I'm going to take the two of them, mash them together, so it's just one stream. But thank you guys for coming back. And I don't know that I want to wait for like the 100 mark.
No, it's fine. I was just saying.
We were just getting into the deep topic part of our show, and it actually kind of goes with my video. What do you guys think is going to be the fate of mainstream journalism? Can they compete? Oh wait, can they compete as they used to be? Because they used to go out of their way, oftentimes to ridiculous levels, to show that they weren't biased, and you just don't see that as much anymore. And can they compete in the modern marketplace and still have the unbiased news?
Well, if they actually, did the whole unbiased thing, sure.
Do you think they could get away with that?
I think if they truly took a not necessarily a political perspective, but they just reported the news and it was just like, this is what happened today, I think that they could compete. Now it's not that people are looking for unbiased journalism. They're just looking for somebody to be like, yeah, I'm biased as fuck, but here's how I'm biased. Because at least that's more honest than saying that you have no biases. Like people, like it's obvious, like I don't hide the fact that I voted for Trump in both the primary and the general election. My audience knows that. Like we don't try to hide our political bias.
I think it's going to take.
Go ahead.
I said, I think it's going to take some personality from the mainstream finally getting fed up with it. Some, old sort of like Walter Cronkite fan or Edward R. Murrow graduate or something to come out and say, I quit, and publicly put out a letter, say, we no longer value objectivity. We have turned sensationalism into fact. Oh, I'll pause for the donation.
Thank you so much, Gross Goose. My girlfriend likes to act like she's 13 when we're in bed together. I tell her that's stupid because she's turning 13 in a few months. Fuck me. Fuck me. Oh, God.
Wow.
Ew.
Anyway, what I think, the only way that things are going to change, or a return in some fashion to old-fashioned news is going to happen. There's got to be a catalyst point where someone with some kind of credibility throws up their hands and says, it's going to be a reverse network. The movie Network, where the guy says, I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore, where he sort of like throws caution to the wind against the sort of old school news and starts going nuts. In this instance, it's going to take somebody coming out and soberly saying to the world, tonight I am resigning on the basis of the corruption of my industry. It's become this, and this, and I'm going to leave. I'm going to attempt to start something that calls back to what journalism should be, and I invite anyone else out in the industry who feels as I do to come join me. And they walk off the set. That's what it's gonna take, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
I don't think it's gonna happen, but I don't think that would do anything.
Yeah, kind of a Jerry Maguire moment.
It is, but at the same time, I think the only way you get back to it is if you this is the stupid thing. You've got to play a return to traditional journalism by leveraging the tools of modern social media. You've got to make it an event. You've got to make it something that people are willing to talk about.
I don't think it would be that big of a deal.
Well, that's why he's saying somebody with. I just don't know if there's anybody left with that kind of credibility.
That's the problem. That's the problem.
I mean, if this was a Peter Jennings kind of thing.
What person on
let him finish.
No, that's all I was saying. If it was a Peter Jennings, maybe Dan Rather before he had his blow up, somebody of that stature at that time, but I just don't think we have anybody like that anymore.
Yeah, I know when Monkey stops talking. Sheesh. I mean, the problem is that, honestly, if you had one of those jobs, why the fuck would you do that? I mean, everybody on a cable network or just a traditional network news show is making a lot of money a year.
True.
They have no reason to leave.
Well, that's what I mean.
I don't blame them.
Well, if they put their integrity over the industry, that is the kind of person that would have to do it. That's what I'm talking about. It's like, a true journalist, someone who actually cares about the truth, who actually has personal integrity, isn't going to care that they're giving up a bunch of money if they actually believe in what they're saying.
Thank you, Terry Diamandis. Biased news sells better. Any news source that tried to be objective wouldn't get seen by enough people to compete.
Well, news doesn't have to be biased. I mean, there was a plane crash today. There's no bias there. There was just a fucking plane crash today.
Well, what about like Fox's motto? Fox made their name on the fair and balanced thing. Whether or not they are, there's obviously people out there who are, or at least when Fox started and up through MSNBC has just started taking over Fox in the last few months.
Well, that's because their primetime lineup just fell apart.
Yeah, it is. It's shit now. But can even if you had somebody with that kind of integrity who stood up, would it be able to compete with the sensationalism? We used to, I mean, if you go back to legacy media before the internet, you always had tabloids, but the newspapers still sold better. So it's not like we haven't been in this kind of position before, but it seems the sensationalism is the sport now. That's what the people seem to want.
Yeah, and honestly, this is one of those things that I think just ebbs and flows over time. Like right now, sensationalism is just the thing. And I think, probably in a couple decades, it won't be the thing anymore.
Thank you, Sweeper Steven, stopping in at work to give some money to the Money Show. Thank you so much.
Money Show.
Steven is awesome. He like drops in every night and does that. And thank you so much. Everybody who donates. You guys are amazing. I appreciate it. More than I can say.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was thinking about this with the whole CNN thing because I think CNN needs to make a huge change. Whether or not they just embrace their bias the way MSNBC does, and anybody who tells me they're not biased, suck my dick.
Yeah.
Whether they embrace it that way or they embrace the Fox News version or try to embrace a middle ground where they have both, go back to Crossfire, have on every show just staunch Republican, staunch Democrat, and let them fucking go at it. But their problem seems to be they are just drifting everywhere. And I don't know that they can get that back in the current climate. I just don't. And as somebody who grew up with it, there's a little part of me that's like, that sucks. Just a little part. I mean, I know things come and go, but
yeah, they're going to have some. I mean, if CNN is going to, like I said last night, if they're going to have any regaining of integrity, they're going to have a very public cleaning of house. They're going to have to rebuild. They're going to have to make a public plea or public statement that we are going to work to regain your trust, and then over the course of like 2 or 3 years, stick to it to the point where It's not that any news source can ever be unbiased. Let's not. I'm not meaning to imply there's some kind of pie in the sky ideal, but there's a difference between not being biased and objectively pursuing balance. If you have somebody on the news who reads the news, gives the facts, doesn't give you a whole lot of color commentary unless it's an op-ed show, and keeps op-eds where they belong. I think the biggest thing is just to make the partitions between news and opinion far more stark. Because right now there is no line between the two, and it doesn't really matter what channel we're talking about, because they'll have like these panel shows that are supposedly news, and you know that they're opinion, but then you listen to the actual commentators and they're practically doing the same thing.
Thank you, Ryan Walters. Maybe CNN just needs to become better wrestlers.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just don't know that they could compete, even if they cleaned up their act at this point. I think we might just be at the point where it has to be biased news and people can go to the source they want.
Well, I think at the end of the day, news, when you're not talking about political stuff, isn't really going to be biased. Because like I said, a plane crash is still a plane crash.
Right.
Whether Fox News or CNN or MSNBC is reporting it. That being said, some other stuff that happens in the news, for example, acid attacks that have obviously nothing to do with Islam.
Right.
Even though since stuff like that has become so politicized, that's part of the problem, is that news itself is politicized. I mean, something happens with a black guy and a police officer, and now another city's burned to the ground. So part of the problem, I think, is just political polarization in general. Because, there was a time where if a terrorist attack happened, we didn't have to talk about the horrible effects on the poor Muslims after the aftermath of a suicide bomber. But now we have to have the conversation about whether or not Islam is actually bad or whatever. And so the news itself is now politicized.
Well, boiling it down to its basic components, it's an oversaturation of the market. When there were 3 networks and like 4 newspapers of record and everything else, and not everybody and their brother had a news camera in their pocket or could broadcast their own news show from YouTube or something, then those guys didn't have to do sensationalism to be heard because they were the only ones. They had a monopoly. There was actually I think the monopoly actually provided better news because they didn't feel like they had to compete in some kind of race for sensationalism. The tabloids could do that, but the news places were just news. And most major newspapers and news networks were rarely profitable. It wasn't, or at least their news segments and their news shows weren't the profitable ones, but they did it as a public service. Now that everybody and their brother can become a source of news, how do you stand out? I mean, it's kind of the same situation that we see with social justice and the whole thing of like identity politics and all that. It's like, how do you stand out from the crowd when now the crowd isn't just the people in your own town or your neighborhood, but everybody on the internet that you can tweet in 3 seconds? So we're suffering the victimization of our own success in the communication world. That now news has to be entertainment because that's the only way anyone will pay attention.
With that in mind, I'm old enough. I remember Reagan's terms. I don't remember the first term real well. By the second term, I was old enough to be paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
Reagan absolutely hated the press, and he made no bones about it. And if you go back and watch some of his earliest speeches from his successful run at president, he wasn't shy about this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But it almost seems to me that they've made, with Trump, they've made it seem like this is the first time a president has ever disliked them.
Well, it's the first time he's ever broken that kind of decorum. Let's be honest here. I mean, Reagan was at least the great communicator because, when he threw, I'll get a little straight here for a second. When he threw shade, it was done in an intelligent, witty way. Trump just comes across as a buffoon bully, which they're not used to. They're used to banter. They're not used to actually being yelled at. That's all. I think.
I could see that. Yeah, that makes sense. Because I've been watching this, going like, this isn't the first president who's hated you openly.
Mhm.
Reagan, what? I mean, he was not shy about it. But you're right. He was witty. He told good jokes. He really did. Squeaky door. Sorry about that, guys.
Squeaky door. Squeaky door should have its own channel.
It should. I'm just gonna make it'll be an ASMR channel.
Perfect.
Oh yeah.
ASMR,
then, yeah.
like, I don't know why. It makes me I hate it.
Well, for me, it's too much of listening to somebody's mouth.
No, I don't know why people like it. I'm just like,
It's soothing. It puts you to sleep.
No.
But yeah, that's all I had on this topic. I just don't think CNN can actually get back to where they need to be in the market we're in now.
You know, I just sorry.
No, go ahead.
I think that, you know, we're seeing this with the apocalypse, and like news itself right now is in like it's in a midlife crisis. And I think it's just going to take a while for it to adjust and settle down, because, you know, it's very different than it was even 10 years ago, the way that we get news. I mean, I get news from Scribe, so, and that wasn't possible 10 years ago. Yes, and I know that there are a lot of people who get news from our show, and a bunch of idiots sitting next to their computers talking every night. That wasn't a thing. And I think the world is just evolving and changing, and I think it's going through a rough patch. And I think in the next couple of years or so, it'll settle down, and that'll be that.
Did you just call us idiots?
Yeah, I mean, well, especially you two. I mean, I'm just cute, so I don't add much.
No, I get your point there. Absolutely.
Scribelight, your source for news.
You're like the new Cronkite.
And that's
that rhymes. Cronkite, Scribelight.
Cronklight.
Because, I mean, you also see this stuff with the Wall Street Journal just flipping the fuck out over YouTube.
I got to be honest with you. The fall of the Wall Street Journal has probably been the most fascinating to me. They used to be a very good news source. And they are the National Enquirer now.
Yeah, and sorry.
Zenith said Cronkite's overrated. I agree with you, but most people didn't. Most people saw him as Uncle Walt, the most trusted man in America.
Yeah.
No, you're right, and I think I think traditional media is holding on for dear life. And I think it's just the natural evolution of things, and it'll even itself out, and then something else will come along and shit'll get stirred up again, and I think it'll be fine.
All right, and on that, how about we turn it over to chat?
Okay.
Chat, this is your time. If you have questions, comments, concerns, something you want us to comment on, now's the time to let us know. If you've asked questions previously in the evening, please ask again, because we really don't pay that much attention to chat when we're doing the main part of the show, but this is your time. So
I'm also thinking about, I should have mentioned this in YouTube time, but I forgot. I'm thinking about doing a writing Q&A, because people have asked me a lot of questions, and I get them more than once. So on my next video, I'll probably mention it in the beginning of the video. If you guys want me to do it, to just leave your questions in the comments of that video.
Cool. All right. I know I saw some questions here already. Did you watch Mundane Matt's video on Adpocalypse 2.0? I got to see part of it before Grand Monkey demanded my attention. Did you guys see it?
It was sent to me.
You should watch it. It's an interesting thing. It's not like the original Adpocalypse where people were just pulling out. It's actually a ransom attack.
What do you mean?
But that's his. The ad companies have had their computers locked down by ransomware.
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit!
And Yeah. So it's a little bit
Wow.
different than it was last time. Lucas Collins Grew says, I wonder, are there any traditional media sources still worth relying upon?
I guess it depends on
At
what
this point,
you want to know.
I don't rely on anything. If something seems fishy to me, I look it up. The closest I would say is maybe the AP, which is still definitely not the best source, but
I use
yeah.
AP for like their breaking. I've got the app on my phone where it like where when shit goes down, it's like shit's going down, and I'm like, thanks AP. Firstinick asked if any of us are going to watch Game of Thrones on Sunday. I am so behind.
I've never seen an episode.
God. So props not.
I've never seen it.
Oh, Scribe, you got to watch it. It's such a good show.
It's too mainstream, and I don't like mainstream. I'm hipster, yo.
You hipster piece of shit.
Also, I don't have HBO or Showtime or whatever the hell it's on.
It's on HBO. You know it's on HBO.
I don't know. I don't pay attention to it.
Dude,
whatever.
Get the HBO app thing and do it free for a month, and you can binge watch all of that shit. You won't be able to watch the newest thing, but you can binge watch all of that shit for free.
I'm binge watching the DC superhero stuff right now, and that's work enough.
Monkey,
Ooh.
I don't know if we've talked about this, but I used to watch Game of Thrones, and then I got bored. Should I keep watching? I think I've seen up through season 4, and then I was like,
I'm with you. There is so much. There's so many times. The problem with Game of Thrones is you can tell it was written as a book.
Yeah.
Which is not generally the case when Hollywood takes over something. When you get to season 5 was mostly written by TV writers.
Oh, so is it better?
It is so much better. So much better.
That's like, I was talking to, sorry, you got a super chat, and then I'll say what I was going to say.
Oh, thank you so much, Jacko. Hi. Monkey, do a show with Tommy Sotomayor. I love Tommy. I think he's funny as fuck, and
I think
I would love to talk to Tommy.
What I was going to say is that I was talking with somebody about this and like the best way to adapt a book. And part of me is just like, leave books alone, because books tend to not make great movies or TV shows because that's not what they were written. I mean, the pacing of a book is so different from the pacing of a TV show and a movie. But I mean, books have a much slower burn to them. There's a lot more downtime. And it's just stuff that doesn't work for television because it's a completely different medium.
And you get that with Game of Thrones in the first 4 seasons. There's so much buildup for such a small payoff. And yeah, the first 4 seasons can get a little monotonous at times. I still think it's a great show, and the way they did it, if you like books, it's not bad. But season 5, you can definitely tell it was written for TV. Do you think we have a chance to keep net neutrality, or do you think it's a lost cause?
Oh my God, I hope we can keep fucking net neutrality.
Death by 1,000 cuts. Death by 1,000 cuts. They will make small changes. They'll get away with small things, and it'll just eventually ebb away because not everybody's paying attention, and the forces that be have way more money than the public does. So I don't have a whole lot of hope because I'm cynical about it because as many petitions go out and everything else, we just keep coming back to this every 2 or 3 years, and eventually they're going to pass something or going to in a line item or something, and it's just going to be the last straw.
I mean, it'll be a disaster if this happens.
Yeah, I am so torn on net neutrality because did you guys see Roaming Millennials video she did on this?
I haven't been able to watch it yet.
No.
Her last video, she talked about it at the end, and the libertarian in me agrees with what she said there. It is very hard as a libertarian to support net neutrality. However, the companies have such a monopoly on everything. Where I live before high-speed internet, there were 4, 5, 6 different ISPs that popped up for dial-up internet. And there was actually a whole thing about whether or not they could use the lines. And it was at least interesting. There was a lot of competition. With high-speed internet, there's literally only one choice for me right now. And it's not the best choice, as
Same
we
thing
saw a little
for
while
us.
ago. Yeah, and that's fucked up. If there was more competition everywhere, I'd be like, you know what, net neutrality, we probably don't need it. Let the market sort it out. But there is no market. There's just one choice or two if you're lucky
Yeah.
in most places. So
Yeah.
I grudgingly support net neutrality, and I hope they don't fuck it up because it's something that's needed to get rid of the
Right
fucking...
now, I wholeheartedly support it because while I'm not a big government person, sometimes government has a place.
Yeah.
The
Like I said, oh, go ahead, Scrap. I'm sorry.
the internet should be classified as a public utility, and that's it. I mean,
I would definitely agree with that.
The phone lines, public television, etc. The internet is not a private concern anymore. If it was
No.
limited to a couple of people or specific industries or something, fine, but it's not. It is the platform on which the public at large, and I mean at large globally, communicates, disseminates information, interacts, everything. I mean, when you're using the internet to call a cab, I'm sorry,
Right.
it's now
order pizza. Yeah.
order pizza.
No, whenever we order pizza, we always go online now. I mean, I think so too. And I think it's really important because the thing is, if you get rid of net neutrality, then ironically, you kind of ruin the free market of the internet because you take away that equality of opportunity from the little guy.
What do you guys think of this? I think net neutrality is a really shitty way to name it. I think it confuses people.
Okay.
I think it would be better if they went with something like I don't want to say free internet because that'll confuse people even more. I just think there should be a better way to name it, because net neutrality just it doesn't really tell people what's going on. Sorry guys, didn't mean to get stuck on that question for so long. A suspiciously moist carpet asks, what are your thoughts on video games with in-game economies like Team Fortress 2 or World of Warcraft? I have no problem with them.
What do they mean by an in-game economy?
Well, like in World of Warcraft, everything you buy is bought with gold that you get from killing things or doing quests.
So just like when a game has a currency?
Well, not just a game has an currency. No. These are actual economies that build up because the in-game currency ends up having a real-world, what's the word I'm looking for? Backing.
Value. Yeah.
Value. Thank you. Yes, a real-world value. People actually can sell gold. Now, most games don't encourage that. You can get banned for doing it. But there's actual economies in there, and I think it's cool.
Is this is that like an MMO thing?
No, so it's any game wherein items or resources can be traded through between players outside of the game itself or within the game. So like for the example of World of Warcraft, players put things up on the auction market that they've either found or crafted within the game to then receive a payment in gold in the in-game economy for that. There was a time like at Ultima Online where
Are you sure it's not an MMO thing?
It's not just because CSGO does it too. Competitive games as well have it. Like CSGO, like very rare guns and things can be unlocked, and you can then trade these things on the internet for real money, or bet on whether or not your box is going to the prize box that you open up is going to have something valuable, and then you wager on that. There's whole ranges of third-party sort of economies and bidding systems and things that have been built around games that aren't MMOs necessarily, but just have a human interaction component to them. So, yeah.
Yeah, Diablo 2 was probably the biggest one before MMOs actually started up. They're the stuff you could buy and sell on eBay from fucking...
Yeah.
I honestly think it's really cool that can happen. And it's really fun to watch. I think it's a great way to study economy, actually.
The really funny ones, videos to watch are like there was like a CS:GO scandal about them effectively being
Yes.
turned into a gambling operation. I think it was CS:GO Diamonds or something. And what you had little kids who were like betting thousands of dollars into this system on the idea that, oh, it's just a video game item. But no, what it is, it's high stakes gambling is what it is.
And you had the problem with the people who owned it jacking the system.
Thank you, Sanguine. The biggest problem is it is double dipping, as we consumers pay for internet as the actual sites also pay. Wait, what? Also pay, so the middleman is getting both. What? I'm confused.
Are you talking about the net neutrality stuff?
I think so.
The biggest problem is it is double dipping. We as consumers pay for internet as the actual sites also pay, so the middleman is getting both. Yes, the ISPs are raking it in because not only am I paying for access, but then of course the companies that are web-based have to pay them for support. And this is why I think it should be a public utility, because the internet as a infrastructure is now not a novelty. It is the basis on which commodities are being created. It itself is no longer so much a commodity itself as it is sort of like the ground on which the roads are being built, you know?
I don't get how it's not a public utility already.
Because there's too much money in not. Do you know how much percentage in profit your average ISP is making from, say, your Joe Schmo monthly internet bill? 95% or more.
Mm-hmm.
Like the cost per user for them to maintain the systems and everything else is 5% of your bill. So like if I'm paying $75 a month, and that's about what I'm paying right now, a little bit more, they're only having to pay a couple of bucks on my bill. They're making so much money because it's a public utility that's been privatized. It's ridiculous. This is why it needs to be a public utility.
The same thing happens with your phone bills, your smartphone. The amount of profit that they make off that shit is ridiculous. Yeah. They actually had an article, maybe 3 or 4 months ago, about Verizon giving people back just a little bit more of their bandwidth, a little bit more of their monthly allowance. And they actually mentioned it in the article that it cost them fucking nothing to do that for you.
Exactly.
There was a time, and there still is some concern about this, about systems getting too bogged down. There's too much traffic. That's getting a lot better, and that's one of the reasons they used to limit it. But that's becoming less and less of a problem now, to where it's literally, if Verizon wanted to, they could run a program, unlimited usage for the next 5 years, and it wouldn't cost them a fucking dime to allow people to do that.
Yeah.
It's such a they're making money hand over fist. What does net neutrality give us then, public or private? It's still private. What it does is it doesn't allow this is, to get into this is such a pain in the ass. And I don't mean that. I appreciate the question, but there's so much to it. What it does is, like, say Verizon has a video service, and they tell you, if you go watch this video service, it doesn't go against any of your monthly usage. But if you go watch YouTube, that does count against your monthly usage. Net neutrality stops that shit. They're not allowed to do that anymore. They're not allowed to send traffic directly to one place, give any incentive to send that traffic there. It's one of many things that they do, but it's still going to be private, but they have more rules on what they can do.
The biggest thing is that the internet service providers cannot give special preference to one site over another for either speed of connection or amount of bandwidth used. Like if you have ISPs where, like, I'm Google and your company Zero, and net neutrality goes away. Well, then now since it's no longer neutral, I as the ISP can say, okay, Google, tell you what, I will make sure that the speed with which someone can reach your sites and any of your affiliated sites is 5 times faster than anybody who can't meet our price. That means that Google will have the advantage of faster load times, speed of their apps and everything else, whereas company zero, who's just starting out, who's just a garage band basically, doesn't have a chance in hell of ever competing with Google because they can't meet the ransom for speed of access. Net neutrality provides that no matter who you are or what you are, how big you are, you all have a level playing field insofar as access and speed and opportunity. And so net neutrality, if that goes away, then the door is opened for favoritism on the internet, which is a nightmare scenario for competition, freedom of speech, et cetera, et cetera.
There was just a question that was actually retracted about how much profit can people make based, I have no problem with people making a profit. I really don't. But the internet is not what it used to be. And it being labeled a public utility, I think, is the right way to go. So that, because it basically is at this point. And they can still make profit. I have no fucking problem with that. Your light company makes profit.
Yeah.
But I do have a problem with them making so much profit already and then going, yeah, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna favor sites that give us a little more money. No, fuck that. It should be a public utility at this point where, like Scribe just said, a level playing field for everyone. Do we have other questions? I'm so sorry, guys. You guys have asked some really good questions tonight that have us talking a lot. Mega Monster says, so I guess no one knows when the net neutrality decision is happening. We just had it reversed, a couple of months ago.
Mm-hmm.
Under Obama, the FCC put through net neutrality restrictions, and the Trump administration reversed those. So whether or not Congress will ever get around to it remains to be seen. Okay, what other questions do we have here? Night of Charlemagne asks your thoughts on military paying for transgender service members to have surgery and aftercare.
This is why we shouldn't have let trannies in the military.
How do I want to say this? It's still an insurance thing that the military does. So, I mean, if it's covered by their insurance, it's covered by their insurance. I think there's better things money could be spent on. And if you want to do that, that's something you should be probably footing the bill.
How is that not elective surgery?
It is. And that's why it should be something you pay for.
Yeah, I mean, it is not a medical necessity. And the argument, I'm sure, will be, well, if they're suffering from a mental illness and this is what is required in order to alleviate that illness, et cetera, et cetera. I can't think of a mental illness that requires cosmetic surgery.
Yeah.
I mean, now if you're injured in battle and you have to have your face rebuilt because it got blown off because it'll help with your trauma. I mean, that's beside the point. That's a health issue. Yeah. Oh, well, it's a health issue because it's my mental health issue. Yeah, but it's cosmetic surgery. If you need to go to therapy, that's certainly covered. But if you want to take the step of having your body shifted chemically or physically, that's on you because it's your body and it's not a medical necessity operation.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are arguments to the contrary. I don't see how it shouldn't be an elective that you have to pay for.
Scotch asks, Ranting Monkey, can you have Sargon on someday? Sargon doesn't know I exist.
Yeah.
I'd love to talk to him. I think he's a fascinating guy. I have my issues with him, but yeah, I like Sargon, but he has no idea I exist.
I've streamed with Sargon.
Name dropper. I've streamed with Irate Bear, and he was on the Warskis the other day. We're talking about Francesca Ramsey. So I'm like, 2 degrees separated from famous people.
No famous people know I exist except a roaming millennial. And
Bearing.
The only reason, well, oh yeah, I should, Bearing.
Yeah. Damn. And what about the Warskis?
Yeah, I guess. Damn it! Don't.
You've
correct me,
I mean,
fucker.
you are I mean, as far as like brand identity is, you've got 18,000 subscribers or whatever, 17 plus. You've been on streams with like Undoomed and the Warskis and Bearing and Jeff Holiday. I mean, you're relatively well known. It's not like you're completely a ghost.
Don't build up my ego when I'm trying to
Okay.
beat myself up here. Damn it!
All right.
All right, fine. You suck and nobody knows who you are.
Thank
Fuck
you,
you.
thank you.
You're a piece of shit and you'll never get anywhere in the world.
No. You already fucked up, Scribe. I got this.
Hey, Sugar Tits liked my tweet today. She was talking about how she couldn't record any audio because there were possums banging outside her window. And I said, that's totally possum, dude.
Nice.
And she liked my tweet.
Backscan says, LOL, Monkey needs to check his famous people privilege.
Yeah, exactly. Check your monkey.
Yeah, I've streamed with that guy T. I mean, I've met T as well.
I haven't streamed with anybody famous except Bearing and Monkey at this point. And I rate Bear, I guess, at that point, too. He's kind of
Wait,
famous.
Monkey's never been on the Warskis. No, I have not been on the Warskis. And that, I'm going to bitch about that for just, what? Go ahead. What's your problem?
What?
Fuck you, Scribe.
What?
What did you just say?
I don't know. What did I say?
That's fine.
I'm going to have to.
I sang a song about you.
I
think
know.
You got
need another
mad
dress.
at me.
But here's the thing. You said that you've streamed with famous people like Monkey, and I'm friends with more famous people than Monkey, so I'm a little upset.
You're like Monkey. What the people like? Oh my god.
Chat, do not spam the Warskis to get me on their show.
No. I thought you had been on with the Warskis before. I'm sorry.
No. I have not been on with them yet.
I thought you were in contact with them in some fashion. I'm a mistake. I apologize.
I have talked with Andy privately a couple times. We've talked about me getting on there, but I haven't got on there yet.
Okay, I must have misunderstood when you mentioned that. People don't take what I've said and then like turn it around into like a mission or something.
I appreciate the thought, guys. I really do. Do not spam the Warski. God damn it.
Yeah, Scribe, Pat's gonna beat you up.
I sang a song to you.
Yeah, he's never sang a song for me.
I never made up a monkey song.
Is that Lady Monkey laughing in the background?
Of course she is,
she's laughing
because
at
I'm being tortured and belittled, and she loves it.
She's laughing at the spam the Warski stuff. Do not do that. I do love the Warskis, but I am a little miffed that they had Whitey on before me. They're like, are you fucking kidding me?
God, yeah, white YouTube.
Yeah, fuckers. Oh, Mashu asked, what happened about you having Anime Renee on? I would still love to have her on. We talked about it briefly before this turned into an actual thing about having her come on. And then we had the long period where we're like, no, we're not having people on because we've had good and bad experiences, and the bad ones are really hard to get over. But I like her show, and yeah, maybe I will invite her for the special guest one time. And if you guys don't know Anime, go check her out. She's awesome.
Somebody asked if I'd ever been on Ogre's channel before. I believe I did do a stream with Ogre briefly.
Who's Ogre?
A couple months ago. He's a YouTuber. Cryptic. Yes, yeah.
Thank you, Cryptic.
Okay.
Sing that SDA song one more time. How about just the first part of it?
Okay.
No.
Wait.
Yes.
No,
Oh.
Monkey.
It's really fun to say hi, SDA. It's really fun to say hi, SDA. She hates it when you give her attention, but she's actually lying. She loves it.
I hate you guys.
That's fucking awesome. Okay. Backscan says, Ranting Monkey, I love her out music. Mrs. Robinson. Yeah, that's Anime. She really is awesome. If you guys haven't checked out her channel, she has the most soft-spoken voice, though, and I am really curious to know if that's real or if she just does that for her videos. Okay. Do we have any? Your boy Pat says, you remember Little One on Mocha Rosary's Stream Monkey? They are riot. I do. That stream is one of the reasons I don't do streams with more than like 4 people. It was an okay stream, but for so much of the time, there's nobody talking, even though there are like 9 people in there.
People like streams with 9 people are no.
Those are so hard to even on one where you get people who are talking.
Yeah, no,
that's almost worse.
four is the sane limit, short of somebody like really having a well-trained group of people who will all mute themselves while 2 people are exchanging somehow. Yeah, you don't want to go any higher than 4, and 5. Yeah, that starts to go. That's over the edge real quick.
Ranting Monkey, I asked SDA earlier, but do you partake in the art of Pokemon eugenics?
I actually don't breed Pokemon. I can't. Like my best friend used to do it all the time, and I was just like, I can't be asked. And I have a lot of really good Pokemon because of him. But yeah.
I love breeding Pokemon, and I still have my Charmander that I breeded that came out shiny. It was so cool.
Oh, like he used to get me a bunch of Pokemon with like with the hidden ability protein or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Which is like really, really helpful, and it was like the best. I miss him for that, and because I used to get so much free Starbucks.
Scotch, wasn't Blair White on your stream before? Yes, I'm so sorry that I made it sound like too. Okay, maybe I'm a little tiny bit YouTube known.
Yeah, you're just not giving yourself enough credit. Imagine that. Humility. It's such
and Hunter Avalo knows who you are.
This is true. Hunter was on the stream with us on your channel. Have you ever played Quiplash? I have, and I it's one of the worst things I ever did.
I'm bad at Quiplash.
I like Quiplash. I've actually played twice. The first time I played was on Jeff Holliday's stream with Jeff Holiday and Bearing, and this is the first time I talked to either of them live, and I was just nervous as shit, and it was horrible.
How was Mara and the new baby doing? They're doing good as far as I know. Both of them are doing well, and her daughter, who is about 1.5, she's taking it well too. So everybody's settled in. She's home. Everybody's doing good.
Yeah, the pictures of baby cute.
Baby.
Okay. God damn it. I want to play Quiplash with you guys, Ranting Monkey. I would love to do stuff like that on my channel, but I cannot with my internet connection.
Lady Monkey said that Hunter was super down to earth. I was pleasantly surprised. Yeah, Hunter's cool.
Yeah, I actually really enjoyed our conversation because I even challenged some of the things he said, and we had a really cool conversation. I like that talk. Oh, wow, I didn't even notice. Yeah, we have 4 minutes left. Last call, guys.
Yep.
I did not make a Jew joke on a Quiplash stream. I would never. Fuck. I would. That is so beyond.
The second time I ever played Quiplash, I actually had a lot more fun. And SDA was there. We were on Irate Bear's channel, and after bitching about racism, she drops like the most horrible Jew joke you've ever heard in your life.
That did not. No. Can you?
Yeah, the stream is still around somewhere.
No.
Meshishu, Ranting Monkey, ever talk to Undoomed? I did get to talk to Undoomed briefly, actually twice. Once on a stream with Wizard of Cause, and I think once on Irate Bear's channel.
Oh, we should get Nick on here at some point.
Yeah, Nick's great. I love him. He is fucking witty as hell.
I'm not drunk. I have great respect for the Jews, and I would never.
Whatever.
Every time Ranting Monkey does a video, Undoomed does one on the same thing. He does, and the last time we did it, I got like 5,000 views, and then he drops a video and like instantly 70,000. Like, fuck, that's some humility right there. Has Sam Harris woke up from Trump derangement syndrome yet? I don't watch much Sam Harris, and his personal politics is why. Who would you all like to meet? That's a good question. Who would you guys like to meet that you don't know, whether YouTube, real or really famous, anyone?
1990s Kathy Ireland.
You're a pig.
Liam Neeson. Is he
You mean
married?
meet like in real life, or are you talking about YouTube?
I think meet in real life. We'll go with real life. Honestly,
God.
I would like to meet Morgan Freeman.
No, okay.
Is Liam Neeson married?
I don't
think
know
so.
if he got remarried after his wife died. I forget.
Oh, good.
I don't know.
Then I pick Liam Neeson. Well, you know what? We can, if he's not, that's fixable.
Oh, Jesus.
That's fixable.
Just show up at his trailer wearing nothing but a trench coat.
I have no problem homewrecking. It's fine. I got this.
I want to meet Jimmy Hoffa and ask him where he is.
Wow. Wouldn't it be great if he's still alive somewhere?
That would be something. God, he'd be a million years old now, wouldn't he?
Dawson Coyne says, demotivator opinion for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
He's the kind of guy I would just, I know I can't say that live. He just annoys me. Just him being annoys me. SDA likes older men. Yes, she does. She has a thing for white pubic hair.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
I'm
gross.
Actually, yeah, Scott says, I would like to meet Scriblight and steal his plunger. I actually don't own one of those plungers in real life. There was one in college I had, but it got, left behind in a move or something. So I suppose I should probably get one.
You left
reals.
behind a dirty, fucky plunger? Really?
You washed it.
It was washed for fuck. Good God. Oh my God. What kind of person do you think I am? Oh, somebody's going to forget to mention you. Okay, well, I'm a horrible person.
Twat juice left on it.
Probably did.
And with that, we are going to end the stream. It is 11 o'clock, guys.
Plunger twat juice.
Jesus.
This broadcast is brought to you by Plunger twat juice.
Chat, thank you guys so much for coming. I appreciate all of the super chats. You guys are awesome. But just you guys who come out and watch us every night, you're fucking amazing. I love you guys. Scribe, SDA, thank you so much for coming. I'm going to end with, it's fun to say hi, SDA.
Fuck you.
We'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.